Hello, everyone, and welcome to Meticulous Talks on January 21st, 2023. I am, as always, Chris Records.
And I'm Hithroc.
Hithroc, you're just getting back from a trip, I understand. Or, well,
Yeah,
last
it's
week you were.
unusual. It's usually the other way around, isn't it?
Well, historically speaking, yeah, I suppose so. But times they are changing, I guess.
Yeah.
How did you like the con?
So I actually was not at a single con panel. I was just at the opening ceremony
Mm-hmm.
because GP prepared some sort of speech for it. Uh, on the train on the way to the ceremony. And the BCG events, and that's it. The rest of the con was spent like hanging out with people, going to like food places. It was really, really nice.
Yeah, that's
I
the con experience.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That is good to hear. Yeah. Um, I wasn't able to make it down, but at least I was able to be on the stream that other people saw, I suppose, along with Ivory Starlight, who was an excellent co-commentator. Uh, our uplink was unfortunately not the greatest.
Yeah, we did not have a good connection from the floor.
Yeah, so there were, in particular, the round three match. We didn't actually see a whole lot of it, um,
Uh-huh.
just little flickers, but it was still fine. Uh, Frankly, I can tell you the game that I was most interested in was one that wasn't on stream. We only heard snippets in the background of. I think it was your favorite game of the tournament too. Your match against Grand Pause.
Yeah, it was a 40-minute game, 1 point versus 1 point tie. So great. I mean, I was on the edge of the seat for the entire of that game because a single point tips the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's uh, it's almost like both players have 14 points, except they both have one. But like 1 point is enough to win.
Yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it.
So and like I had no idea what GP is gonna do, and I don't know if GP had ideas what I'm gonna do. We had a fun moment when I put the troublemaker face down, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's one might say it's your favorite troublemaker," and of course it was. It was Trixie. So it was a really fun game. Yeah.
Yeah. And this whole adventure tournament was the last one conducted before. Or wait, no, that's not strictly speaking true, is it? Because the next core constructed thing, is it a Coco or an Adco?
I think it's Coco,
Oh,
and it is yeah. So this is last adventure technically, and Coco is the last core.
yes. But this was also the first adventure tournament played with the second turn rules.
Yes.
Yeah. And how'd you like those?
Uh I I think I generally liked them, and people said that it's pretty much like you still want to go first every time, but like I went second every time. Maybe I was wrong, but I think one extra AT is really really nice to have. Like I don't think my deck gains much from going like it gains grubber. You grubber someone turn one. That's
Hmm.
the only thing. But I don't think that's important every time. So yeah, I have chosen to go when I was given the choice. I was chosen to go second every time.
Yeah. And that's probably not unexpected that the more control oriented decks would want the resources more than the initiative. I suppose. Well, here we are talking about this. We're not going to talk about yours and Grandpa's decks for a while. Uh,
Yeah,
you're both up at the top of the leaderboard. Um,
technically undefeated because it's a tie.
Undefeated, yes. Yes, you were the people who provided the mandatory tie, um, so that the pairings would all get screwed up.
I mean, out of the 4 games I had, one of them was a tie, and 2 of them had a really good chance at a tie. Like it was incredibly close to a tie.
Hmm.
My game against Pages was almost a tie. It was like difference by 1 turn. And my game against Ara, which Ara technically like had more points, but then I would then we had card time, but we were supposed to have an extension because he went away to like for technical stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which we didn't have. So he conceded, so I can have it. And I would have won anyway if I had like 1 more minute because I would do a double face off. He couldn't do anything about that.
Right. Was that? I don't know if we saw that on stream or not.
On stream, you saw Ara concede
Right. Yeah.
spontaneously. But yeah, like if I had 30 more seconds to execute the face off, I would have won.
Right.
Officially. With like points. But like it also was almost a tie that game.
Okay.
The only game that was certain was my game against Cheese. Anyway.
Yeah. We had 8 well, they had 8 participants in the tournament, which is a great number for us. We can usually get through 8 relatively quickly. So let us start with Instagram playing.
Yeah. Yeah. That card can do that. Which I mean this deck is mono white, so should be not that hard. Mm-hmm. Oh no.
That's because the scenes were set up differently and my audio setup is a mess. I hope you can hear me now. I hope you should be able to hear me now. I unmuted myself in OBS. There we go. Perfect. Right.
Welcome back.
Yes, it would have been right as it would have been right as I changed the scene. And I remarked about the outrageous outfit and rarity endless generosity combo that we saw on stream right at the end. Which I understand. I've recently been informed has become kind of a thing in core all of a sudden. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, I've heard something like that too. A couple of words about that. Hats work? Question mark. I'm not sure if this counts, but I mean technically.
Well, it does. After all these years, it's become readily apparent that like when we want something to work, we're willing to take whatever that ends up looking like. It may not be the traditional way that people generally expect a hatch deck to play, but hats works. Yes.
Yeah. Card Judge. When was the last time you've seen that card?
First Judge? Boy.
Do you like it?
I don't think I've ever seen it in a proper adventure deck. it was Harmony last time I saw it, I think.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But it is a great card. It's always been
It
a
is
great
a
card.
really good card, yeah. Yeah, I unfortunately did not get a chance to play against this deck, so
I see. Okay. So
I don't.
yeah, actually, both of us are kind of in the dark, really.
Yeah, so I don't know too much. But hey, it has some tools against troublemakers.
Hmm.
Some decks in the tournament didn't.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, that's I think that's how I got some of the wins.
I see. Yeah. Yeah.
uh Everybody perhaps was thinking about yellow or Bluna.
It,
But
with respect, it's not necessarily a. It's not. It's an understandable decision to have gone into this tournament expecting lots of Luna.
that's true.
That is always the. Apologies. Get where.
Do you mean don't you want promotion to your channel?
Yeah. I just. So I have. I have the moderator actions turned on. Oh, show mod icons. That's what I need. There we go. Yes, that's what I was talking about. At tournaments like this, and especially at Vancouver, because there are a lot of creative deck builders in that area. That's always the push and pull of like, oh, the meta is all Bluna, but there's so many people who like to go against the grain that come to these tournaments. So, uh, yeah, which direction do you go in, right?
Yeah. I mean, this tournament did not have too much Bluna. It had two decks?
Uh, it,
Yeah, two decks.
strictly speaking, yes, and one of them hardly counts.
Oh, actually, no, there's a third deck as well.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. Do you want to move to the next deck?
I suppose. Yeah. I feel almost like we shortchanged Instagram a little bit. Um, since you didn't play him and I didn't really get the chance to see his deck in action on the commentary screen. Um, so I'll just comment that it's shall we say a somewhat non-traditional way to generate a pile of unicorn tokens because one normally associates that with bodyguards.
Yeah.
Uh, but he managed to get enough of them in play for his thing, and it certainly looked devastating enough when I did see it in action. But yeah, moving on
Yeah, I like the deck, yeah.
to Max.
Max.
And it took me it took me a little while to identify what he was playing. Partially because we had seen pages on stream before, um, and so I saw Changeling Pretender like, oh, maybe he's playing the same deck as Pages because I mean they are in this they are like
Yeah.
locals. Um, so yeah, but then well, see the changelings come out, and oh, this is the white yellow changeling deck. Yes, that has actually become pretty good all of a sudden.
I think what Max said about his deck selection is that he went to tier lists and just picked something he liked. I think that was the
Okay,
rationale.
so it was either Bluna or this was his choice, basically. Yeah,
Yeah.
which
So yeah, changelings.
mhm, yeah, I kind of funny. Like so, after our stream last time, I did go back to the Fond Memories review video, and look at some stuff. And I distinctly remember, well, I saw in the video me giving the good ranks to the fond memories, Pharynx and Thorax, saying, "Oh, these cards are exactly what changelings want." I don't know if I can take credit for that for this sort of bugs deck actually being good now, but um, they do have great synergy with what the changeling deck has always wanted to do.
Yeah. Now we need the changeling main.
Uh,
I mean, this is a changeling main, but
yeah.
we need one in core because, like,
We
look at the
also
deck list.
have one in core.
We don't talk about that one. I mean, Acellus is like okay, but she's not like actually good, right?
Well,
She's
she doesn't
like
get played. Yeah,
yeah, but like look at this deck. It's all core, all of it,
it
except couple of problems in the main.
it is. Yes, blackmail is a little strange actually. Now that I look at it, what is that doing in here? Actually, the problem deck is quite slow.
I mean, changelings have like a bunch of power. I don't think meeting control confront requirements could be much of a problem.
I mean, yes, that is true. Um, and you bring out your best works because you just obviously always name changeling, so that's fine.
He mentions thorax, which I guess is fair.
That's also a good point. And this deck, well, let's see. You've got it. You've got some 3 power and then 1 4 power printed. Um, and
Well, it's actually a fair amount of free power curves in here.
yeah,
Also, interesting that Heart of Adoring Fans did not make into this deck.
it is generally considered to be an obvious synergy with Timble.
Timble, yeah.
Yes, but I have I am still of the opinion that Timble is like you don't want to go full Timble, as this deck didn't with only 2 copies of it.
But it's so tempting.
It's so tempting, but how often has it worked? And admittedly, I haven't seen this deck in action. Maybe it works all the time, but it's always seemed difficult for me whenever I try to do it.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Do you want to move on?
Sure. Grandpa has just mentioned in chat that Thorax's big issue is the fact that you prefer white to be your primary color, um, which I can see as being correct.
Yeah,
Uh,
I agree that the deck is good.
mhm. Yeah, I guess your strong resources are in white. Yet, yeah, your your entry friends in yellow are actually changelings, so yeah, that helps. Alrighty, but yes. Uh, next up is oh yeah, Diamond Song. I remember, yeah, when we saw this deck on stream, um, we were both very interested to see what it was, cause like Deep Luna, you expect, oh, okay, something fairly standard, but it's Diamond Song. She never plays something standard. She always brings something weird, something
That's true.
different. Um, and in this case, well, take your pick on whether you think this is weird and different. It's Luna Yellow, which is not the most common kind of way of doing Bluna.
You know, I don't think I've seen blue and yellow that much at all. Like I've seen blue and white before.
Uh huh.
I've seen blue and pink before. Everybody's seen blue and pink before.
Yeah, you've seen
Blue
Bluna.
and yellow, not so much, right? It's usually if somebody goes blue yellow, they pick usually yellow main.
Um.
Almost never blue now.
So let me see. Because I know people. I know it has happened before, and fairly recently. Like it is in the tier list.
Mm.
See who it was. This. So. Hmm, a surprise because the only one that actually comes up is this third place showing from Jacob Stewart in a Adco.
Like
Yeah.
I think it's not a common pairing
Okay.
with a blue main,
Looking at that, yes. I suppose it isn't.
with the blue Luna, that is.
Now you still get a lot of great stuff out of your yellow.
And out of your blue.
In particular, in adventure with Day Shift and well, both Day Shift and Vapor Trail, really.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of the blue cards that we know and love. Admittedly, I'm looking at this. Yeah, Mullet and Dash is the only hasty friend in here, which is pretty non-traditional for a Luna deck.
Yeah, that is true. Like I guess you use Luna not for Luna tricks, but for just free movement.
Mm-hmm.
Like Luna still works outside of other phases.
Yeah.
You can still a useful main in the main phase.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you are like, I guess the thing is that it requires you to have a relatively good presence of friends out.
Yeah.
Like yeah, the sort of hastier styles of Luna, one of their main strengths is that well, your opponent can take out all your stuff, and like frankly, you can still only have like maybe two friends in your hand, and you still DFO.
Yeah.
Um, so you are a little bit more vulnerable to um, uh, hard control. You're a little bit more vulnerable to farm as well. Well,
I think the fact
except
that
that you have a big pile of dilemmas, so maybe that's not the
yeah.
case.
There's also the thing that there's not a lot of interaction in this deck. Especially immediate interaction. I don't think there's any, right?
Nothing that it counts as
Like
disruption. Yeah.
like Rainbow Connection is kind of,
Mm-hmm.
but that's more of a face-up trick
It is. Yeah.
interaction. Yeah, but like yeah, you have Yona. That's it. Actually, I think.
Oh yeah, as is pointed out in the chat, yeah, here we have our blue yellow deck with no resource removal. That is also a
No, there's no deck that runs resources. A lot of resources. There's no deck like that. Not at all.
none at all. Yeah, I can say I've been there. You get up to 45 cards or whatever, and you're like, oh, right.
Finally, I cut the. It was bad. I had to cut a lot of stuff I liked, but I finally got to 45. Oh wait,
I forgot the resource removal. Yep.
that's everybody does that. But yeah, nice deck.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, did not see it either.
Yeah. Well, I saw it. Oh, she must have dropped. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
think she had to drop.
fair enough. Okay. Moving on
Yeah, to Ara's list.
to Ara's list. Yeah. So this is the exact same Luna Farm that he ran at what was it? Babscon? Yes. Yes.
I like this list. Has Trixie in it.
It does. It has yeah. Well, single copy, but yes, it does.
Still counts.
Still counts. Still well, not as unexpected this time, given that talked about on stream and it had been played in a previous tournament. Still somewhat unexpected to the senses to see Luna and Farm.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think you mentioned that on the commentary or maybe somewhere else. But like this deck switches between I aggro now, I farm now a lot.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
What did which game did we see on stream?
My
Was
game.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
It was
Okay.
2 Thunder Lanes.
That's right. The Thunder Lanes, yeah.
Oh, there
Uh,
was a funny moment on the commentary where Ivory went to win and he came back like, "Oh, I was gone for a minute and both of the Thunder Lanes were gone. What happened?"
yeah.
Oh,
Uh
this deck was brutal. It was hard to play against. Even though I'm playing counter farming deck. But Thunder Lane is such a strong card.
yep, for sure. If you don't have a if you don't have a good way of getting rid of it,
Yeah.
still perfectly capable of taking a game on his shoulders and just winning it. He's got a very good mix of troublemakers for the various situations that may arise.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I guess having 3 copies of Groger helps find those troublemakers.
mm-hmm. Yep. Let's see. I'm gonna say that Pony of Shadows is a like in a deck with this many friends, you're gonna whiff on that a couple times probably.
And every friend here is good.
They're all pretty good. Well,
Like,
because your main's Luna, they're all great. Wait, no, is
oh
that
no, Luna
yeah?
is play.
Play
You have
only,
to
play
know.
only. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I mean, every single one of these friends, other than Loyal Pony, I guess, even Loyal Pony, I mean, I'll be happy to get them.
Well, Loyal
They
Pony even
kind
more
of,
so because you actually will get the trigger. I
yeah.
actually
But
would have
whether you
said,
need that trigger or not is another question.
well, I mean, for the sort of standard farming maneuver where you have your Pony of Shadows over on your problem, and then the friend that
Oh
comes into
yes,
play swings stuff
yes,
over to farm the other thing.
yes.
Um,
So like Gallus, I guess then is the worst option, and like free power is free power,
mhm.
and you can also like do you can farm another troublemaker with that. I think Ponyo Shadows is okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's still fine. I would only say it's a little bit less effective than in the only two or three farming, two or three friend decks that you see sometimes in Adventure.
Yeah, needs more embers or daybreakers. You know, I wonder
Those
if a daybreaker like is there a spot for a daybreaker here? Maybe
so
not.
yeah, probably not. Well, like both of those cards put you more in the farming direction than in the aggro direction.
Yeah,
And so for a deck that lives as much as an aggro deck as it does as a farming deck, those two cards are a little bit more questionable.
I think daybreaker still could be fine.
I
I
think
think
it's
there's yeah. Go ahead.
it's worth giving a shot at. Yeah. Yeah, just to see if it still works. In a well, yeah, in a meta with more farming decks and more troublemaker oriented control decks, it may be more worthwhile. Yeah.
Maybe 1 copy of Groger's Lair. I don't know what you would cut for it though.
Yeah, that's hard because Grogar's Lair is
That's
super tempting.
it is, especially like what we Luna meta is like. I think Groger's Lair is pretty good versus that.
Yeah, like even
And like my deck, Groger's Lair, my deck hates that card. Don't play against me with that card.
yeah, like even let's see, Smithers Luna Orange runs Grogar's Lair. Because I'm looking at the last online con. Uh,
I would cut 1 Flash Magnus's shield for Groger's Lair. I think you don't need 3. Like they're unique. They're dead cards in your hand as long as you have 1.
hmm,
Yeah, they can be removed, but like I think 2 will be enough.
yeah, and Grand Plus points out that Ara did seriously consider it. So
Yeah.
fair enough.
But yeah, I like the deck. I kind of want to play it myself.
Who doesn't want
And
to be in that situation where you force someone to seriously sideboard wrong against you?
I I kind of like decks that they're kind of farm, but also kind of not farm.
Who would have thought?
This deck is interesting. Actually, so before the tournament, I did not watch the same stream for the like what decks are gonna play, so I did not know.
Hmm.
So like it was, I thought it would be interesting to like figure out throughout the game. And I saw Blue and I was like, oh, Ara's just playing aggro, and then he plays the trouble. Turn one, I was like, what?
That's the opening. Yep.
And I thought like, okay, maybe that's the Starlight that like gives you a move in the beginning for free, you know? That card used to be really popular.
Hmm.
And then it was a Starlight, but not that one. It startled me, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, okay, and he was 2-2. So moving on to our third, you mentioned 3 Blue decks.
Yeah.
But the second one that I actually count as traditional-ish, although
Which one you
also
don't count? Aras?
Auras, yeah,
Yeah, makes sense.
yeah. Which even this, Blue and White was a
Was
thing that existed. Uh,
especially before Defenders, before
yeah.
like the whole Berry Punch and Northwell, I think Blue No White was like maybe as popular as Pink,
Hmm.
maybe more popular. I don't know.
Um, but this is a well, Coco Femel's new.
Yeah,
Um, and so yeah, like even like old style Blue and White wasn't really a hat stack at the end of the day. Really, I don't think. Like
yeah,
it was more about AK Yearling and sort of cards
RTO.
like it, basically. Yeah, and being super efficient power for cost.
Yeah. You also used to run that rarity that you would put into a face off from a discard pile. You
Uh,
remember that card?
I
You don't? Okay.
don't.
I think there's a
Yeah,
promo of it somewhere. That card is not good anymore in any way.
yeah. I am actually drawing a total blank of what card you're talking about.
There's a blue white rarity that different decorator, yes.
Ah, that one. Yeah. Oh, that one.
That's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's like from alternate timeline of Nightmare Moon.
Yeah, yeah. That was from
Uh
Marks. Yeah. Okay.
yes. I don't think that card is good enough to see play in any way, shape, or form nowadays. Unless it's part of some sort of super weird synergy.
Hmm.
But yeah, I like this deck, but it has one major flaw. Can you find it?
I mean, like, there's no Trixie, but surely that's
Okay, yes, it has two major flaws.
okay.
But
um,
good catch, good catch. There's not a single answer to troublemakers in this deck. If somebody plays troublemakers against you, you cannot do anything.
hmm, yeah. Um,
Like lacking lesson plans is the only card, and after our game with Cheese thought like, yeah, even then, Tarnish reputation is just better to start with. Still,
yeah, that is kind of a problem. Uh, Blue and White.
you have Crack,
Oh yeah, Crack is an adventure. Yeah. So yeah, that's a fairly obvious uh thought to
you
put
have
in there.
Dilemmas, which this deck doesn't have.
Hmm.
So there are things, but I think Cheese mentioned it's like, yeah, he knew about it, but like no room for troublemaker removal.
Hmm.
So
Well, I mean, you do have like strictly speaking, hasty friends kind of count. Kind of.
Eh. There's like
For
5 of them.
people who are gonna play the troublemakers
Oh,
fair.
there's also Bushy Dash. Yeah, so there's
Yeah,
8 of them.
8 of them. But
Eh.
bring your main along for free, and remember your main has always like +2 power or whatever because you've got the Fleetfoots in here. But you're right, and Grandpa's is right, chat. It's seems like a bit of an oversight, which not obviously
I mean,
not because the
given the
chief
meta,
did think about it. Yeah, yeah,
not a.
yeah. Not an oversight, but a decision that has consequences.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we actually didn't see this deck on stream at all, ever, I don't think. It's a bit of a shame. I did kind of want to see it in action.
I don't remember who Cheese plays against in the last, because I kind of stole the stream spot from Cheese.
Mhm.
It was between me and Cheese who wanted to be on stream for the last round. I don't remember who he played against. Might have been. No, I don't know. But yeah, I do like this deck. It also technically has
Well, yes.
runs Coco Pomel,
Oh,
runs
yeah, yeah.
Outrageous Outfit,
Yeah, this
and Carrot Head.
this doesn't need to be technically. This is hats.
It's not full hats. It's like a little bit of.
I mean, geez Louise. If there's a level of hats above this, then that's getting crazy. It's
I
got
think there is a level above this, but yeah.
it's got what? 1, 2, 3, 4 different accessories in it. And
I mean, I guess
explicit resource attachment synergy in Coco Femel. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I guess
in
you're
my
right.
book. That's all that you need to be considered a full hats deck.
Sure. But yeah, this is also not your traditional blue in the list, which is good. I really like diversity in this tournament. It was really, really good.
I guess yeah. Looking at the full gamut of what we saw, the purple, yellow, blue, white, orange.
We didn't have. Oh no, we did have. Yeah.
There's no. Oh yes, there's a wee little bit of pink in there. Not a lot actually. That's like yeah. There's not a lot of pink, which is a little interesting.
What ran pink? Oh, Pages ran pink.
Page's deck has a bit of it in there, by virtue of having basically everything in there.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
Yeah, let's go to Pages. So this deck also has one major flow. Can you find it?
okay, maybe I've warmed up the old gray matter here too.
Pages had a lot of fun this tournament. That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay, so you've got troublemaker answers, kind of, sort of, some. Wait, do we not have resource removal in here?
I think we do. There's Mysterious Disappearance.
Oh yeah, well, only 2 of them,
That's enough with Pinky Sense.
I suppose. Think about the other major flaws that tend to exist.
Want the hint?
You've got plenty of removal.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a hint. Look at
Okay.
the main.
Well, yes.
Yeah, what happens if it doesn't flip?
Oh, the usual thing with Tunic Pretender.
And like we had a person who was running Grogger main in the tournament, so they're not flipping. I have a Tempest main. I don't really have to flip either. I think he played against someone else who also did not flip. Like
Well, it
out,
would be
out of Who would be?
It would like, well, I mean, Max
Maybe it was Max. Yeah,
would be the obvious choice. Yeah.
but like out of four four rounds, in three of them, I think he did not flip his main at all. And this deck is really what's the word? It's really crippled when your main is not flipped.
Well,
You
yeah,
cannot play pretty
barrel
much
doesn't
anything at all.
work. And
Neither does like your bet. So you need Citrine Spark
yeah,
into Rushed Makeover,
yeah,
and that not having the flipped main cripples this deck so much.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's unfortunate.
Because I think this deck is like super strong, right? It's very strong, I think. But if but the main
Yeah, well, yeah, like Alicorn decks tend to be super strong if they can get through that early game. And well, yeah, I mean, you usually only need to land two of whichever tricorns are best for
yeah,
your current matchup, and you're totally in control of the game.
yeah, pretty much. Is Paradox only Harmony only, right?
Uh, the main,
Yeah.
isn't it
Should,
banned everywhere?
is it banned everywhere? Oh wow. I kinda missed that. I think I did not like I kind of forgot about that, but yeah, now that you talk about it. Yeah. I'm just thinking what better main would be in this deck. Because like
Um,
Chrysalis is a good main. She gives you two colors right away,
yeah.
which lets you play Royal Family and all that other good stuff. But like, mm,
I mean, you start train traditions, right?
yes, so you get
So,
three colors. But
well,
like,
so like just start
yeah,
Skystar maybe, and then turn it over turn one, and then you've got your two colors, pink and white.
yeah. But then you're playing against Bluna, and your training traditions is gone immediately.
Well, but like, is that well? Yeah, this list gives you that.
So Prismlight says Y6. Is that student six or?
That'd be student six, yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking about student six. I think
Al-
student six is a valid choice.
Also, a very traditional reanimation choice.
Yeah. Like it'll be pretty good, and you can free counters lets you play a royal family without worrying about colors at all, right?
Hmm.
So that's like one of the options. I wonder what other options are out there.
Like student six has kind of fallen out of favor recently, it seems.
Yeah,
I kind of wonder why that is.
you could play Lyra.
Lyra's not awful.
Lyra populates your discard pile, draws you 8 cards,
Hmm.
and gives you 2 colors turn one with training tradition. It's all for 280.
Yeah.
I think like I would rather run Lyra than Skystar if
Right.
if it came down between those two mains.
Hmm. Hmm. Be the better pink main for the job. Yes. Full hand draw. You'd have one AT left over if you were going second. Isn't enough to do anything, of course, but
Against Balloon, this should be a great main. Unfortunately, yeah.
yeah.
Cannot sideboard main. Can't do that.
Unfortunately, yeah. That would be interesting. Um, like, well, most decks wouldn't want to. So.
Yeah. But well, it's like how do you make the choice what to sideboard if you don't see their main?
It's a good question. Yeah, it's a good point. And
So it
you
only makes sense if you know what the opponent is playing. It should still be like interesting in some sort of weird format or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you would, in theory, see which of the two choices they had. Something like
Yeah,
that.
you can do it in draft, and in draft you can kind of know what people are playing.
Hmm. That's a fair point, yeah. Next deck.
Sure.
Okay. Which brings us to the two decks that we started out talking about.
So yeah, this is the why you like this deck.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I'll say of the four decks that I saw in SimStream, this is the one that I was most excited to see. And we did see it on stream once, I think, right? It was like the first round. I think
Yeah, versus
so.
Diamond Sun.
Yeah, and we didn't get a chance to see it sort of fully operational. I don't think he ever played a Royal Envoy in that match, unfortunately. But it still played very well as a yellow orange, uh, well, yellow orange deck that happened to like play multiple rarity and trying to host at the start. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that card is so annoying.
When it comes out quick, yeah, for sure. He managed to play. Let me see. Did he steal like a day shift with it? I think in that game. Pretty sure that's well, yeah, because I'm pretty sure he had a day shift, and well, there's none
Mhm.
here.
On me, he stole my Doctor Hooves. That was annoying. Actually, he did it twice in one turn.
That does sound
Discarding
annoying.
2 random cards out of 8 cards in my hand. First Doctor Who's gone. Second Doctor Who's gone. Ouch.
That does
Oh,
sound.
Spooky Ruins. Spooky Ruins is really good.
Yeah, Spooky Ruins is it is. Oh, that's right. It was Spooky Ruins. That's right. Yeah, kind of the best yellow card that gets cut more often than any other, probably. At least in my deck.
In
Well,
my game, he also stole a Flurry Heart and banished my resources with it. It was so sad. It's just annoying.
yep.
But yeah, this deck is good. And I don't think GP, I think, mentioned to me that he didn't actually get a chance to do the Royal Envoy combo in any of the games, not in mine for sure.
Hmm.
But we did play a casual game afterwards where I pulled the grubber. He had the whole combo in his hand. I was like, oh yeah, you run some sort of combo, but I don't remember which one it is. Like, what do you do? And he had like all of the pieces. So I discarded something irrelevant. And
Wow.
then he proceeded to remove. And I had 3 exposed in my starting hand, which was especially sad because he got rid of all 3 of them turn 1. That casual game was good. I liked it. Even though it was very long, I was without cards half of the game. And my my plan was to basically bank enough AT to win through Mistmane. That was my plan because I couldn't do anything else.
Well, we know what your tastes look like, and that they are somewhat different from others. Um, but yeah, I'm saddened to hear that he never got to do the full Royal Envoy thing. Yet at the same time, that's good to know that the deck can win just fine without it.
Yeah,
Um,
orange is good.
it is, and yellow is good,
And yellow is good.
and you can play a mid range deck nowadays that has got the full control thing in it if you want. By the sounds of things.
Yeah. So GP mentions that there were a conversation about this main early game after seeing Rarity and Thunderhoof. Because yeah, you can play that turn 1 and it's pretty strong. Pretty strong.
It's well, sorry. What kind of conversations are you referring to?
GP just said that in the chat.
Okay, because I mean, yes, it is really strong. That's
Well, there have been conversation of perhaps it is too strong, maybe.
maybe I just haven't seen the games in question. Like, obviously, it was very, like, in the game that I saw against Diamond Song, it was very good. Diamond was playing basically without a hand for pretty much the whole game, which is devastating against a Bluna player.
Yeah.
Like it's I'm forming in my head the sentence, I don't see how this is much worse than just yellow Paris sprites. But
I mean, is that the bar you're setting?
well, they're
Well, it's worse because you get the early power, you get free power for 280, turn 1, and
which
you
is
also
true, yes.
steal cards. Paraspite just discards cards. Here you steal cards.
Yeah.
And you can play them for yourself, which
Yeah. Which
opponents usually have good cards in their decks, as just a general.
good, but not necessarily always better than the cards you have in your hand.
Okay, GP mentions that he stole 2 Night Gliders. So what do you think about that?
I think that's great that it happened. But like, that's the kind of thing that you laugh about after the fact, not the thing that you say, man, that card's awful.
GP asks if you want Yellow Parasprite in Adventure.
I mean,
If we're getting Yellow Parasprite in Adventure, I want my old money back. Or Mimics. Choose one. Or both.
yeah. No, I think that's Yellow Parasprite belongs in Harmony, yeah. Maybe I need to see some more evidence, I guess. Like, certainly I agree that it's strong, but strong things are fine. Admittedly, this is core legal, this interaction. So that's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that sort of thing, like core maybe is a little bit too maybe this doesn't need to exist in core.
Actually, it's not quite core legal because you don't have training traditions, but you can still do it with a rushed makeover or something.
Yeah.
It's just you can do it like if you go second and get 180 extra.
Yeah.
And then you can do it. Wait, no, you don't have to get 180 extra because rush makeover.
Because of rush makeover, yeah.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
can do it with
If
any
you
other
have a
entity.
yeah, 180 extra than any. Yeah.
It's just like it's a little bit harder, but still as devastating, I would say.
Yeah. The fact, so yes, the fact that it comes out turn 1 is a little bit tricky. Yeah.
In my game against GP, he played it quite early, but I tried to shut it down with a Trixie. That's how he knew I played the Trixie because
Right.
I think it was an obvious choice to do that.
Like, yeah.
Also,
Like,
I think I kind of gave it away with my. Like, oh, I know what card I want, and then I kind of thought like, oh, actually, no, maybe I don't quite want that card.
Yeah.
Because Trixie was like tricky choice there.
I think if it needs to be fixed, I don't think you need to do anything more than make it cost 1 more AT. That's what I would say.
Well, that would still keep it turn 1 if you go second in Adventure.
Which is, like, as I said, in Adventure, I
And in
think
Core
it's
as well with Rush Makeover.
well, it's no longer super AT efficient for power. And
Still steals your opponent's cards. Well, we'll see what's in the future. That's
fair enough. As I said, I guess I haven't seen the games where it's been super ridiculous yet.
I like that. Just want to like I see this deck runs Melted Expectations.
Yes.
And I think that card is fair.
Yes.
And I like that. I like that after the nerf, it still sees play.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's like extremely still too strong. I think it's about right.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's still Well, yeah, in adventure, it is kind of sitting alongside bailout. Each one good at its own thing. You don't have to discard the card, pay one more AT. Only lasts one turn, but you get that slight extra effect. Yeah, it's sort of sitting there, probably about as good.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, it's fine. And yeah, otherwise a great display showcase. That's what I'm looking for of all
Hmm.
the good enough control events in yellow as well, which is basically just Scary Story and Stop Short is here as well. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
You always right. Yeah, and then Scuffle is always on the big side because, well, yes, yeah. And GP was yes 3-0
Second.
and 1 with you.
Yeah. The only reason I'm first is because my average opponent win rate was higher. So we have the same score, but by the
Right,
tiebreaker.
by the tiebreakers. Yeah. I mean, I think that I still agree with the sentiment that I heard on stream that adventure is in a good place.
Well, I mean, if it's
Now,
all Bluna, then no. But
right,
this one wasn't all Bluna. But we don't know how much is that. Uh, like I ran my deck because I didn't. Because I like it.
right. And sorry, we haven't actually gotten to your deck yet.
Yeah, but like I'm just like maybe that's why many people didn't run Luna, right? Because they prefer to play some other deck.
You have a lot of unique cards in here.
Putting this deck was really hard. I had so much more stuff in here.
25 unique cards? 6, 12, 18, 24. Yeah, 25.
No,
That's quite a few.
that's. I mean, I want my tools against things. I have. So I actually came down to 50 cards, and then I was like, because GP, like I don't have my cards yet on me,
Mm-hmm.
so I asked if I could lend the deck from someone, and GP offered. Thanks to GP very much for providing the cards for me to play this deck. And we kind of talked about it. I asked for like, oh, maybe you have like some suggestions for the deck, and he was like, yeah, you should run Tranquility. I did not have Tranquility. I forgot about it somehow.
Huh. Yeah.
So I needed to cut more cards for Tranquility. I was like, I don't want to cut anything. But I did it. And I also included Miss Mains after we talked. I think that was part of what I included. Oh, and GP suggested the card that actually was really good. I did not think about it. It's Acellus. Acellus is like the one of the MVPs of this deck, I would even say.
Yep. I mean, it
She's really good.
reminds me a lot of that 4-cost Skystar.
Tempest
That
and Grubber. Oh, Forecast Skystar
well,
also.
yeah, the same basic role being filled. A card that's
Yeah.
expensive for its effect, but once it gets into play, that's when you're having fun in
Yeah.
a BRB style deck.
Yeah. So yeah, with hooves and portals. So my previous iteration of this style of deck still had portals, but they were not really using them as much. They were mostly using them for exposed and like farming tricks, like as an immediate movement thing.
Mm-hmm.
But in this deck, I've thought like since we have 6 portals now in the form of hooves and portals, I might as well like lean into the portal side of the deck way more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Acellus is a really good choice. Baby Flurry Heart is amazing unless somebody runs Desert Road.
Yep. Well, as
Um,
is true for any enter the board style thing, yes.
yeah. So Well, I guess that's it, but like that's still a fair change to the deck. And we don't have all the money anymore. Very sad.
Right.
uh, Latest change that I did, there was a single card I swapped in the latest iteration. Is I thought I would start with Discord Troublemaker. You know that gives you ET.
Hmm.
It's a pretty good start with Tempest.
Wait, that's not Grogar.
Oh, maybe Groger. Well, Groger
Well,
is Discord anyways.
yes, that's true. Technically correct.
So yeah, that Troublemaker that gives you 18 is a pretty good start with Tempest.
Hmm.
But in the last thing, I switched it to Grubber because I thought nobody runs FOF anymore. Nobody is running protection against hand attack. Grubber has not been in the meta for such a long time that nobody's gonna run anything against that.
I
So I thought
I
like,
well, I'm looking at your deck list, seeing this Foff like 2 slots away from Grubber here. But yes, continue.
well, I'm running FOF. I don't remember why I included FOF. I was afraid of some hand attack, but I don't remember what exactly I was afraid of. But like I was running FOF, and it actually helped me against game in GP versus GP.
Hmm.
That was nice. But yeah, nobody else did, I think, and Grubber was really nice. Even though I had only a single copy, and if I drew him, it's kind of sad, but it's fine. Oh, I think I drew him against my game, like in my game versus GP,
Hmm.
and I used Tempest to find Trixie, or maybe not. Maybe it was the other way around. I don't know. Don't remember. But needless to say, I did not expect this deck to do this well. I thought like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna, play some games with a deck I really like.
I mean,
And
hasn't
then
it?
I
I apologize. Hasn't it been historically pretty strong?
it was average, I would say. It wasn't like amazing. I would say it was like average. That's what I would put that deck at.
Sure.
And yeah, and then my first game against Cheese, he just couldn't do anything because he did not have answers to troublemakers. So kind of just won, was kind of a one-sided game. And then I don't remember who I played second. Second, I played GP. I think might have been. It's either GP or Pages. But versus Pages, I won because I did not flip my main. Versus GP, it was a super interesting game.
I think it was GP your second game.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm remembering that that's about where it was in the stream
Yeah, and that
that
that would
we
make sense.
heard that. Yeah.
Daring Do Poster. Amazing card still. Really good card.
Uh,
Gives you a ton of AT.
well, yeah. A card that consistently gets you one AT per turn
Or 2
is
AT per turn.
already great. A card that consistently gets you 2 AT per turn is amazing. So that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember I was alluding like, oh, there's no deck that runs a lot of resources in this tournament. My deck runs a lot of resources. All
Hmm.
good ones. Well, I guess it's just Stick Shield and Daring Do Poster, but you don't want any of that in play against me.
Yeah. I mean, yes, all good ones. Yes.
So another thing.
I have. Sorry, I
Yeah,
did.
go
I
ahead.
so like one thing that I've noticed lately, which is kind of interesting, and it's borne out in your deck too. It seems like there's a lot of really good stuff in blue at 2 rec and below. Like you can get a lot of value splashing into blue without going farther than 2 requirement. It seems. Uh,
Yeah, I guess that's true. Well, the blue stuff that this deck runs is like Ember. Nobody else runs Ember.
mhm.
Not in a while. I think we've seen like it a couple of times. Her a couple of times. Flash Magnus Shield is the big one that people sometimes run, especially farming decks.
Hmm?
Ultimate Organizers, we were talking with GP about that. He is convinced that this card has no place anywhere, including this deck. I disagree.
Mm.
I think Ultimate Organizers is okay, especially like against Pages. Ultimate Organizers was amazing. Such a good card. Moves his Twilight away without removing her. Like he can't do much about that. But I guess if he has Luna Midnight, then I'm in trouble. So I don't know about
Well,
Ultimate Organizers.
that is still just generally the truth, right? As I said, that Alicorn deck, you have two Alicorns out, and generally you've won.
Yeah. Zeroed out, only this deck runs this card.
Mm-hmm.
Daring Do Poster, also only this deck. So I don't know if that's. I don't know. Like, I don't think this deck is really representative of what you're saying.
Well,
Because most of the cards here are like specific for this deck.
I actually the deck that I was playing this morning was a deck that splashed into blue for for Ember and for other. Look at what in running in that thinking deck. It was for much the same reason, to support like farm / troublemaker control.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it was like just Ember, Ember and the big Ember.
Oh, the Tricor?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I should have run Tricor in this deck. But like, she
Well,
used to be good.
I mean, she's got orange requirement, and you don't have.
I have Barrel.
You have what's already, I'm sure, a very stretched entry system.
Actually, I mean, look, it's 6 entry. That's fine. It's a free color deck, but we don't talk about that. 6 entry is about, right? I think I cut entry in some of my games. Like, I think Fourths is the card I sideboarded
Mm-hmm.
against someone. And like, this deck, honestly, starts up so well, you don't really need entry. I don't think so.
Well,
Unless you're playing against some other high disruption deck that will remove your stuff a lot.
Tempest Train Traditions is and still remains a classic combo
Yeah,
in control for securing your colors early.
yeah. You don't like in this deck. You don't really need that much entry, I think. And like, single copy of Singing Barrel is enough most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And Rush Makeover is just so good that you kind of want all 3 of them. Speaking of cards that are good, Sirens, amazing troublemaker. I highly recommend to anyone who plays Control, especially if you have ways to recycle it. Because if they defeat it, they still block the problem. It's just so good.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't defeat it and do like some dilemma trick, you still have a thing, and then you can recycle them back with exposed. And if you have a portal at immediate speed as well, like, wow, really good troublemaker.
Yeah, like I'm sure. Well, okay, sorry. Let me formulate a thought here. You would think that the disadvantage is the points that your opponent gets, but a lot of that, I'm sure, probably goes back to this pervasive idea that people don't really defeat troublemakers anymore, do they?
Yeah, not that much.
And
And like, the trick that this deck particularly really likes to use is the troublemaker replacement trick, right? When
mhm,
you during a face-off to win it, you just portal exposed or zeroed out, and you get another troublemaker into play. And then like they win the face-off, but they don't get anything because the old troublemaker is gone.
yep,
And if that old troublemaker is Sirens, you can block the other problem. So good.
for sure, yeah.
So yeah. And speaking of people not challenging troublemakers, on the case is a problem in this deck, and yeah, GP before the tournament said like, yeah, on the case should probably not have it, and I thought like, nah, it's fine. But actually, it is not that great, and we figured that on the case should be replaced with a prospecting interruption. That's
Hmm.
the second one. That's the obvious choice. And the third problem we decided on. I don't remember what we decided on. We decided on that problem that scores you points when you pay for AT. Just
I
keep away?
know this one. No,
No. It's
no. Yeah,
bus
yeah,
keeper keep
yeah.
away.
Yes, it was something. I saw the art in my head. Yes.
Yes.
Buzzer keep away, yes.
So that problem. But honestly, now that I look at this problem deck, like if you go that route, thinking like, oh, opponents don't defeat my troublemakers anyway, then like you don't really need halfway across Equestria either. And maybe it's still better to have on the case than halfway across Equestria, because IT is just more valuable than a
Mhm.
move. But halfway across Equestria is easier to confront.
It
So
is.
I don't know. Not that this deck confronts much, but
Well,
sometimes it does.
like,
Sometimes you want to DA4, you want to defeat 2 troublemakers, and then DA4 the same turn for 7 points.
yep. Well, yeah. Getting any amount of white together is going to be hard, yeah.
For this deck, yeah. This deck does not have a lot of weight. I mean, you have exposed, that's it.
Mhm.
Mixed many probably don't really play. Sometimes you do. But yeah, I really enjoyed the games. Games against GP was my favorite. The way we scored points, I think he confronted his training traditions, and I confronted my training traditions.
And
And
that
that's it.
was it.
That was it. No more points.
Whole rest of the game, yep. Yeah, I kind of, well, I wish I'd been able to there to see it, but I'm sure there'll be more of that. Yeah, I think probably your deck is
Yeah.
still legal, right?
Yeah, my deck is not affected by the bans at all.
Hmm.
So yeah, perhaps.
Yeah. And so, speaking of, yes, that was the other major thing that came out of, well, out of much deliberation and consideration, but after this tournament, we'll be talking about the ban list adjustments and other rules updates in our next stream, 2 weeks from now. That's February, right? Yes, February 4th. So, yeah, we get into that. Otherwise, that is all 8 participants here at Vancouver. Was there anything else you wanted to say before we wrapped up?
No. I like the tournament. That's what I'm living
Mhm.
with.
Yeah, it was like even from just the stream side, it was an enjoyable event. I like to see all the decks that we got to see. I think you were right earlier in saying that we had a pretty diverse meta game:
Yeah.
farm, aggro, control, good representation of many of the colors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
No combo. Oh,
no,
kind of. I
well,
guess GP is a little bit of, but it's like not.
no, that's not. We didn't call that combo back in the day. We called that control back in the day.
So would you call Moonlight's another control?
It was. How did that deck actually work again?
I don't remember. I just remember it used Spike, and it
Yeah,
just
it
there was a
was
song that
Spike
discarded
and
2
right,
cards.
right. It was the Hearts of Strongest Horses. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Um,
think there was like some other song that gave it back, and
I
like
mean, yeah. Well, in the old nomenclature, we would have called that control. Yes. These days, yeah, we probably call that control combo.
it's yeah.
Which I guess, um, strictly speaking, means that yes, JP's deck is probably control combo as well.
Let's talk about what is combo. What does it mean to be a combo? Is
That
scoring a lot of points in a single turn a combo? Is having a good synergy a combo?
yeah, yeah. So well, do you actually want to have that discussion, or
No.
because I tell you, I don't really want to have that discussion either. So that probably wraps us up for today. Thank you to everybody for coming out and watching and chatting. And congratulations to all the participants of the Vancouver tournament. To you, I guess. Well, yeah, you, Hithroc. Tiebreakers are a thing, especially for your victory.
Yeah, I only won because nobody prepared for troublemakers for some reason.
And yeah, as mentioned, our next stream is going to be 2 weeks from now, where we'll be talking about the ban list adjustments and rules adjustments that were just recently posted. And I'll make mention that the stream after that, the 18th, will be our next anniversary stream.
Yeah.
End of February is when that usually happens. And we've got something. As you know, we tend to do something interesting for each of those streams each year. And we've got something else cooking up. I don't know if we're going to say exactly what. Yeah, we'll save that for next stream. But
yeah, especially since I don't remember.
Look for that. Otherwise, I think I can only say that I have been Cursed Chords.
Oh, sorry, and I've been Hithroc.
Sorry, that was a
I kind of spaced out there.
Non-standard outro. That's fine. And we will see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.